Hey there guys and gals, welcome back. It's Mapper here today with another episode of Shikimori-san. So, we are in the middle of a pretty interesting arc here, right? It's a culture festival, it's a classic rom-com situation, you gotta have something happening, and for the first time, we are actually getting into a more deeper story, or deeper part of this story here, right? We're learning a little bit about Shikimori's and Izumi's past, like how they met each other. Well, I guess technically not how they met each other, but how they eventually got together, if you will, their first interactions with each other, and it seems that there is just a teeny bit hint of of some drama going on, especially with Kamiya, right? I do maintain that I think, even though they were trying to lead us off with Kamiya having a crush on Shikimori and whatnot, I still do think it's actually Kamiya x Izumi. Although I'm sure nothing's gonna come out of it. We already have our confirmed couple. There's not really too much that she can do, right? But anyways, that's just my guess. Let's get into the episode and find out. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. No. Ooh. Yeah. Oof. Oh, you're too late. Well, I mean, this kind of situation is, there's not really much you can do about it, right? I mean, literally, these two are already together at the beginning of this series, right? It's literally the whole premise of this series. So, there's really not any room for any ambiguity, right? All right, sort of like a Cinderella tale. All right. And then we get into the cheerful opening here. Actually, the opening scene there with them dancing in the ballroom or whatnot remind me more of Anastasia, right? The animated series, or not animated series, the animated film Anastasia. I mean, I think it's pretty clear by now that Izumi is quite popular with the girls, right? It's, even though obviously we've been focusing on Shikimori and how, she slays all the men and all the boys and the girls at the same time. Izumi definitely, we've seen hints here and there of him being quite popular as well. Alright. 11 times. Okay, all things considered, this is a job that's suitable for slacking off. True. That's not what she's talking about, isn't it? Mm. I mean, I have to say, Kamiya definitely looks more like a Bishonen than like a Bishoujo. Yeah, okay. Now, what is she going to do? I kind of sort of feel like she might be up to some mischief, though. Like, just to tease her or something. Just say you have the number of my boyfriend. Is it that effing hard? Oh, wow. Huh. Huh. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking. Oh. Well, Shikimori is more of the yandere type, right? So, I think she's very sensitive to these kinds of things. Ah, look at that sort of parallel. Except for 12 at midnight, it's 12 at noon. Alright. Gotta wake up from the dream. Or you're not Cinderella anymore. Not gonna lie, I actually do like that parallel very much. Even though this has been a lighthearted series up to this point, that scene was definitely touching. I don't say that often, to be honest, but I feel like that was pretty tastefully done. Right, because after 12, back to normal life. Mm. I'm gonna guess that there's gonna be like a confrontation between Shikimori and her. Is it about to rain? Look at the wind. Hey, what did I say? Dang. That's... Oh, now that I think about it, that scene was in the opening, wasn't it? Because she's a pseudo yandere. That's why she's figuring this out. Shikimori is definitely the kind of person who's going to be like, I'm going to battle to you fair and square. I feel like this is definitely going to be a situation where she confesses at the very end and then gets rejected. And that's what, you know, a proper ending, if you will. Man. Yeah, Shikimori is definitely gonna be the type to tell her, you should. uh, yeah. I feel like the correct answer here would definitely be still asking Kamiya to confess, right? And then be gently let down. I wonder if others are going to see them embracing here, but... oh well, let's just keep it here. And what's with the weather? I guess that was just kind of like... I guess that was just kind of like a sort of reflection of her inner feelings. Oh, so she isn't going to confess in the end? I don't... Hmm. I mean, I do think I'm trying to think here. Last episode, I was thinking it might be a case where she just silently, she just silently wishes well for them too. But with the way things were going in this episode, hmm. And there's definitely a kind of whiplash here, right? We have last episode with I I mean, I guess you can consider the entire case to be done, but that I'm assuming that this latter part is lovey-dovey time, right? All right. And how did you get over there? It's more. All right. These two, again, they seem much more like, two people who are flirting on the verge of becoming a couple rather than an actual couple here. Right, so it is the first anniversary. So yeah, they have been. Dude, you guys have been a couple for a year now. Ah, this is. Alright, so I guess that means that this part will be forever a secret. Although, if that's the case, though, well, I guess, I mean, I kind of needed to have an outlet, so at least somebody needed to know. That's probably what Kamiya said to him, right? She's jealous. I think this calls for at least a hug here. I think you two could first start that part with being a little bit more intimate with each other. Aw, she is so cute. Ah, I just. Mhm. Oh my god, dude. I am. I will see you guys after this. Oh man, guys, this episode. So, first of all, I loved each of the individual storylines that happened here. We had two, right? The Kamiya storyline and then the sort of like anniversary gift here, which is, I guess, kind of like an aftermath of that storyline, but I'll view it as two separate events. And, you know, individually on its own, I love both of them. I love the structure and what the content of it is. I'll talk more about that later. However, when you mix them together, especially back to back within the same episode, it definitely, I don't know, it definitely tugs on your heart a little bit, and you're like, what? That's, you know, but I'm still, my feelings are still over there. Why are you taking my feelings over here now, right? So, yeah, definitely a little bit of whiplash for everything. So, let's talk about this first, right? Again, you know, two important parts. One, the Kamiya storyline, you know, with Kamiya's crush on Izumi, and then the aftermath here. So, first of all, I really do love the way that they portrayed it. I think it was very tasteful. I have to admit, I have a soft spot for these so-called, you know, the ones that were doomed to fail from the very beginning, right? It's one of my weaknesses when I'm reading stuff in rom-coms. I especially hate it when you know there's these certain kind of rom-coms which is, you know, sort of like their genre is harem, right? Even though there's not a really true harem ending, the guy needs to find one person to be with at the very end there. And typically speaking, right? Typically speaking, there is always like one, like, you know, the one that everybody feels is, or you know, you just look at it and you're like, okay, there's like over a 95% chance it's going to be this girl. Typically it might be the first person who meets, you know, the main character, or it might be the titular character of the series, whether it's an anime or manga or light novel. There are times when it's left ambiguous. I think Godobon no Hayame, right? That one has been touted as, you know, nobody really knew until the very end and whatnot. But for a lot of other works like these, you always know, like, somebody, like, there's one who has the most chance of winning, and then all the rest, even though they are all lovable in their own way, they have their own stories, but they are doomed to fail from the very get-go, right? There's really no way that they could have competed they could have competed here. So Kamiya's situation definitely strikes me as similar to that as well, right? So she was doomed to fail from the start. I mean, not like from the start, right? Like back in the first year, she probably knew Izumi before she. Well, actually, hold that thought. That might not be true, but at the very least, they were still on the same sort of racing line at that point, right? But now that we are, with the way that this story began, it's not a case where Izumi and Shikimori are still flirting around and haven't confirmed their feelings. Like, even though they do look like that way, in fact, they've already been a couple for a year now, right? So it's really not that kind of situation. So this was doomed to fail from the start, and I don't know. It just tugs my heart, honestly, the way that's portrayed. I have to admit, like, I was seriously, those who have known me for a long time, those who have been watching my channel for a long time, know that I'm typically not the most emotional kind of guy, but I will admit, I kind of got teary-eyed during that scene there. It's just, I loved how they drew parallels here, right? The sort of Cinderella story, right? You can have a nice time, you can have a nice dream, but once the clock strikes midnight, well, everything is going to fall apart, right? And I just love how they sort of like parallel that here with Kamiya and Izumi as well. That time that they had within the library where they could just, ignore others and just talk to each other and at least live out this fleeting fantasy of a relationship here, right? And then once the clock strikes 12, although it's 12 at noon, not 12 at midnight. I loved it. I thought that was a really clever use of the sort of Cinderella story parallels here, and it's just the way that was done was just great. It really tugged at my heart there. And then even later on, right, the confrontation between Shikimori and Kamiya, and we see some flashbacks there, right? I actually didn't really catch what was going on at the beginning. I had to watch it again, but then I was like, oh man, that's it's like more arrows for the heart, right? The flashbacks were basically Kamiya back in first year. I'm not talking about the library scene, right? That was kind of obvious there, but even later on, they showed her in her first year, right? Being so eager to skip out from her clubs or from her classmates, just so that she can hurry up and get to the library. And then she even, makes this feeling like, even though she's typically like the more carefree, casual kind of girl, with her uniform out and whatnot, her hair tied up, yet before she, just because she has this crush on Izumi, right? Before she went in, she took the time to straighten out her uniform and let her hair down, even brush it a little bit and whatnot. These are the action. These are the scenarios that really tug at my heart here. So I really love that entire thing. And then obviously the ending conclusion there, with I guess it also touches on another part of this that I really like, and that is what I call the gap, the sort of like the gap attribute, if you will. So when there is this clear distinction between how a person normally acts versus how they are now, or when they encounter some real serious stuff or whatnot, we see the the usual calm and collected Kamiya instead crying there because of a lost love. It's just, I love that kind of storyline so much. And was this the best decision here? Honestly, I could go with either way. I think I remember I said last episode, I feel like this is going to be one of those storylines where Kamiya eventually sees something, like maybe she initially wanted to maybe have a little bit of time with Izumi, or just to maybe not necessarily be together with him, but at least to enjoy it in some way, right? But then at the end of the day, she will finally give up when she sees the bond between Izumi and Shikimori. I thought it was going to play more so towards that kind of scenario, so that's why I thought that it wasn't going to she wasn't going to confess at the very end. But the fact that she was so in essence, I was thinking that she would never let anybody know, and so she would actually keep it within her heart, just knowing that she has no chance, and so just letting it be, right? But with the way that the storyline developed here, where she did get figured out, and especially discovered by Shikimori, right? And then even going into this confrontation scene, I was like, this is this. I actually, I don't know, man. I almost kind of wish that that either Kamiya, maybe out of mischief or out of this little tiny bit of, please let me just be selfish this once, refused to exchange a number with Shikimori, or when Shikimori returned the number, right, that she would actually take it and take maybe do the couple photo with Izumi and then confess to him and then be properly rejected, right? I was hoping one of those things would happen since we did get into this kind of storyline, but I guess the author probably did not want to drag out the drama too much, and so I don't know. For me, it feels like this is still a sort of unresolved story. I know at the very end it was kind of like she's all being like, yeah, Shikimori is good for him and all that, but I don't know, man. I still feel that, I guess in a way it turns back into what I originally thought, but the fact that the circumstances are different, right? Because the circumstances are different, the way that I wish the scenario played out is going to be different as well. So I can't say I'm entirely satisfied with that ending there. And then that's kind of also why I mentioned that I get whiplash when we go directly into the second part, which is with Izumi giving the anniversary gift to Shikimori, right? And I guess there's not too much to talk about there. I mean, it's just them being lovey-dovey as usual, but again, some important parts here. This is also their first anniversary as well. They've been a couple for a year now. Come on! Does this look like a couple of 1 year to you guys? No, it does not. I don't, like, I've seen mid-schoolers that have been more lovey-dovey with each other within their, like, first 2 weeks of a relationship than these two. I think I mentioned last episode, right, or maybe 2 episodes before that, I feel like part of the insecurities that they may have with each other is also because that they're being too polite and too considerate towards each other, right? Like I said, it doesn't really feel like they are a couple, and at the end of the day, that's just how I feel of it. Like if Shikimori was my girlfriend, right, or if I had a girlfriend like Shikimori, and the both of us are just like, okay, still, even though it seems that we're a couple, but we're still like maintaining some sort of distance to each other and whatnot. Like I would definitely have my insecurities as well, right? I would be like, oh, are we? Even though we say we are a couple, does she really feel that way? Maybe she doesn't really want to be in this relationship, etc., etc. You guys know what I mean? So I feel like, in the end, even though there was this question of insecurity coming up again, and we like to joke about Shikimori being a yandere, or at least I like to joke about that, but couldn't they have at least, even if not a kiss, right, at least a nice heartfelt hug there? Guys, come on. Oh my god, it is so frustrating to me that they did not at least end up in a hug or whatnot. Come on, even when Shikimori was giving her declaration, right? I'm definitely not going to let you go to any other woman or any other girl. If not a kiss, then at least a hug. There was not a more proper time and space than that scenario, and yet they didn't do it. I am so disappointed. So that means that I'm disappointed in in both occasions within this episode, right? Both endings here. I'm left wanting more. Okay, that kind of turned into a mini rant at the very end, but I gotta lay that out. Like, it's not that I hate this series or anything, right? As you guys can tell, I'm definitely enjoying it. But it's one of those cases where you love it, but you're just like, what are you guys doing? Oh my god. Alright, so, yeah. In any case, do let me know if you guys feel the same way as well. And, or am I just the one being too forward here, or whatnot? But, like, seriously. Okay. I don't want to continue anymore. I'm going to rant all day here. Alright, so, thank you guys. I believe next week we are on hiatus. Actually, shoot. I should have watched that. I should have looked that up first. Give me just 1 second. Alright, sorry guys, so I had to quickly look it up because I recall that they were going to have like a special broadcast. So indeed, the next episode will be delayed until 2 weeks later. They will have a special broadcast in place instead. Probably, you know, another sort of like recap with the seiyus talking over it and whatnot. This is mostly due to some studio issues that they have and not else. There should be the last delay here, and then the rest of the season should just go as scheduled. So anyways, I will see you guys 2 weeks later. Stay tuned, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.